All right, welcome to the 13th episode of the pod. Happy to have my friend Joe on again. And
Happy to be back. It's been a minute.
like I know you're a big Jets fan. Preseason week one just passed by. Jets lost to the Bucs 24-16. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game myself, but like I don't know if you have any thoughts just on the
Yeah.
game.
Um, you know, they started the game out with a lot of the starters. Apparently Geno Smith is like his like foot or toe is hurt or something. So they brought in Klubnik with the starting lineup, and he was doing pretty good. He had a really good throw to Garrett Wilson. He was finding Mason Taylor, he was finding Omar Cooper. It looked like the offense was kind of flowing. The offensive line was doing the starting five on the offensive line. Hopefully, they can remain healthy because I think the synergy they're building looks good. Obviously, all we have right now is training camp. We have like literally a drive against Buccaneers, like second stringers. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Klubnik had a lot of time in the pocket. So that means our offensive line is just the greatest offensive line we've ever had. But there's a lot of synergy from last year. I think it's still four of the same from last year. And now Parham is left guard instead of John Simpson. I think because John Simpson went, I think, back to the Ravens and
That's
uh
fine.
right, and now Parham came from the Raiders. So a lot of synergy on that line. Membu Fashanu, uh who else? I'm blanking. Parham,
Myers.
Myers. Yeah. So a lot of good things going on there. He had good pocket presence, good poise. I liked what Klubnik was doing. I don't think that means you just rush him out. If Geno does bad one game, I think you still have to let the kid um uh, work in the system. Don't just throw him into the lion's den, but it looks like they have a good surrounding cast around the quarterback that him or Geno should be able to do a lot better than Justin Fields did last year. And Justin Fields is an anomaly in himself because he's
Yeah.
not even really a passing quarterback. He did terrible. He wasn't really himself besides literally like week one. So anything is better than that, but you could say that, but then you see they had Bailey Zappi come in. They had Brady Cook, UDFA legend Brady Cook come
It
in
was the
and just
three
do
dynamic trio.
terrible. Yeah, they are just so bad. And I think it shuts down the whole backup who's a QB2 conversation. It has to be Klubnik. If Geno goes down or if he's doing really bad midway into the season, and maybe they're in a position where maybe they could make some sort of a push or they're just winning games. Maybe you could put Klubnik in. I don't think you want to put Zappy or Brady Cook in any game that you're not tanking.
It just shows you're tanking if you put them in.
Exactly. It's what you did last year in the last three games of the season and the remaining stretch. You start Brady Cook three times, you sideline Garrett Wilson. You're just kind of putting in Brees so he can get to those 1,000 yards, show him what he's got a little bit. But besides that, there's no other reason to not use Geno or Klubnik. The other two are just so, so bad. But I think another thing that I'd like to mention is just on the offense. So let's just stay in the offense, right? Um, Wide receivers, running backs look great. Brees Hall, there was a point where he could have easily gotten a touchdown, but he slipped on the turf,
Ah,
and he was very upset about it on Twitter. He's very vocal on Twitter. Uh, Braelon Allen had a good like 31-yard touchdown run, made a good cut. He is so built. Like, have you seen his build?
no, I
He,
haven't.
he is a literal tank. That guy. He's built, and after the injury on like game three of last season, I think a lot of Jets fans not forgot that he was on the team, but forgot what he's capable of.
Everybody just kind of leaned towards Isaiah Davis.
Right. And Davis isn't like that bad.
He's a
He
pass catcher.
yes, he's a high-end RB3. he could even be a low end RB2, I think. And I think that that trio that the Jets have in the running back room, if used properly, if Frank Reich can figure it out, I think it really could be a good recipe. And then on the receiving core, as much as I love that Garrett Wilson catch from Klubnik, you could argue in a real game that's a hospital ball. And if Garrett Wilson goes down early in the season or even at any point in the season, that is a huge hit for that offense because you have good supporting wide receivers. You have Adonai Mitchell, who's really emerging as
Yeah.
a really great deep threat X factor receiver. Omar Cooper, who is actually now wide receiver 4 on the depth chart because Isaiah Williams has been tearing it up at in camp, which is another conversation. People think that's negative, but I just think it's a healthy competition. But the it's not like, oh, yes, if Jamar Chase goes down, it's a big deal, but you still have T. Higgins. Going from Garrett Wilson as your one to Adonai Mitchell as your one is a totally different conversation, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna talk about Adonai Mitchell a little bit, but like, I mean, you got him from the Colts last year in the Sauce Gardner trade. At least I think, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and I mean, people kind of just thought it was like, a little shoe in player, just like finish the trade or whatever. But I mean, he actually has like solid potential to be a decent receiver on the team. And like you've heard a lot of rumors of like Geno Smith clicking with Adonai very well in camp.
yeah,
I mean, obviously having him as a two maybe potentially isn't like such a bad thing. He definitely has the vertical threat presence or whatever,
for sure.
and he could be a solid wingman to Wilson. I mean, he's obviously not a star receiver. At least he hasn't proven anything yet, really. But I mean, that's definitely a solid piece to have. And
Yeah.
I mean, what do you? I mean, Omar Cooper got drafted last year, and I don't know what you think about like. I know you said he's like listed as 4 in the depth chart. Like, do you see him as like a 2 or a 3, or a real
Yeah,
difference
I
maker?
mean, I think Omar Cooper is was a great pick. I know the move they made. They moved back into the first round, a few spots up, and I think you lose out like a fifth or something. I don't remember the exact details. You move up a few spots to get Omar Cooper in the first round because not only do you want to guarantee getting that great receiver, you also, if he shines, now you have the ability to give him that 5th year option because he's a first round pick, which I also think could be very crucial if he really is a standout player. Now, I think Omar Cooper has the potential, and again, in a good system with a good quarterback, can very much shine, kind of like how he did in Indiana with Mendoza. But is will that one translate to the NFL? And would you even argue that Geno Smith right now is better than Mendoza? That's another conversation. Probably not. But um, you just look into it and people are concerned saying that, oh, if Isaiah Williams is who hasn't always has been in the league for a few years, never was amazing, is moving up past Cooper on the depth chart, is that a positive for Williams or is that a negative for Cooper? And
I think it's a positive for Williams.
I think it's a positive for Williams. I agree. I think people are kind of freaking out. I think they should still find a way to utilize and give Cooper those first team reps so he can, you know, uh, develop, so he can develop and he can turn out to be a star. And maybe one day, I like Adonai Mitchell. Every day that Sauce Gardner trade is a masterclass. Every single day it gets better. And I, like you said, that is true about him and Geno Smith having a great connection. But the bar to become the wide receiver 2 on this team isn't that high.
No, not at all.
So he can easily be a wide receiver two on this team. Can he be a wide receiver two on some other teams? Maybe not. But I mean, he probably can, maybe a low
You
end wide
can
receiver two.
like
But I think on this current Jets roster, he can easily move up to receiver two with some big plays, with some development. Give him a few weeks, give him some real NFL experience, not just preseason against Buccaneer backups. I think he really can shine.
yeah, I definitely agree. And also like you can't really look into this upcoming season and say the Jets are like, a playoff team or Super Bowl contender, which they're not really. So, and you're obviously trying to build a culture and trying to build a complete team that, can contend going forward rather than just missing the playoffs every single year. I mean, they've been the longest team that hasn't made the playoffs. I think it was 2011 was the last time they made it.
Yeah. Isn't it now the biggest drought in all of the four major sports?
It could be, yeah.
I think so, right?
It probably is.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you need to build something positive rather than just like staying in this limbo mode.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you give Omar Cooper first team reps, give him more volume. I mean, it's only going to help the team going forward because, like, respectfully, do you think Isaiah Williams is going to be like the player of the Jets' future, like
No,
beast
not
wide
at all.
receiver for the
And
team?
I think it's good, especially for a team like the Jets, where again, in a terrible worst case scenario, if Wilson does happen to go down and maybe the Jets are in a good position, you're gonna have to rely on that receiver depth. So you want these players to be carrying their weight and also being a threat because the other thing about it, I can sit here and keep saying, oh, if Wilson goes down, if Wilson goes down. It's not if Wilson goes down. Even if Wilson's healthy all 18 weeks of the season, he's not, there's no one else that's a threat. So they're just going to put the best corner or double team Garrett Wilson at all times because they know the other guys are just running like Drewski reps
They're
and
just getting
then
their cardio.
not catching the ball. Like Arian Smith, who had a amazing play literally 2 days ago in training camp, uh, or 3 days ago in training camp because the game was 2 days ago, had a throw from Bailey Zappi, which yes, was it a perfect throw? No. But that throw from Klubnik, which is a little high, it was in contested coverage. Garrett Wilson was able to go up, clamp it, and just absolutely go down and haul it in. Arian Smith, a ball was like slightly off target. He could have caught that. NFL receiver, he botches it, tips it, and now it's an interception on back-to-back drives. And yes, Bailey Zappi is not amazing. He threw a pick six on the other drive, but from what I saw, although not a perfect throw, but not all, you're never gonna always get a perfect throw, especially from Bailey Zappi. That was on Arian Smith. That's the receiver's job to haul that in because it was in his catching radius. It literally bounced off his fingers. So these players on the Jets can't be making these mistakes because then if the other receivers on the team aren't a threat, then Garrett Wilson is probably just going to get all the attention and probably be a non-factor for most of the plays. And you can't have that. And then you go into the same problem as last year, where if you want to be this run-heavy offensive scheme with Breece Hall and Braelon Allen and Justin Fields,
I mean,
obviously
then they
this
just
is
focus on the run.
right. And
And
then they just focus on the run because not only was there no passing threat because there was no Garrett Wilson, there was also no passing threat because
we can see
you had
say,
Justin Fields.
yeah, I was gonna say that.
So, and when you have no passing threat, then the run game just gets snuffed. So the whole game needs to be serviceable for the stars to be able to actually do their job.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, you need more versatility in the offense in general because like if you just have a one-dimensional offense, teams aren't stupid. They're gonna like completely stop that threat. And they have to these teams like we're talking about the Jets here, like they have to like find different ways to like exploit what they're doing by like just investing all their defense in like one specific like offensive scheme or whatever. And that's the only way like their offense is gonna get better. Because like over the last few years, I mean, it's been pretty pathetic. I mean, we obviously talked about Fields a little bit. I mean, he obviously was not a good passer. And coming to this year, I mean, Geno Smith was, I don't know if he was statistically the worst quarterback last year, but I mean, he played for the Raiders and he's
Yeah.
had good seasons with the Seahawks. So I definitely see a more positive outlook when
Yeah,
it
I
comes to the
think
passing game.
Geno Smith I mean, a lot of quarterbacks would have been an upgrade from Justin Fields last year, but I think Geno Smith is a good upgrade. Look, there's a reality where Justin Fields, where Geno Smith is going to throw a lot of interceptions. It's going to happen. Quarterbacks do, but he's also not going to be afraid to throw it downfield, try to make some big plays, actually make the passing game run smooth. And his offensive line, this was literally maybe the one strength of the Jets last year, and the one thing that you could write off on, besides Darren Muji being a really rising star of a GM, that's the only other thing is the offensive line. Their synergy and their ability to actually protect the quarterback and make something out of nothing in a run game that is so obvious and one dimensional, they made it work. Geno Smith behind this offensive line will probably be able to actually have a pocket presence. He'll actually be able to take his time, and maybe he can actually make a good throw downfield.
Yeah, and he won't be nine have a 19 to 17 touchdown to turnover ratio
Oh my God.
with the
Yeah.
Raiders.
If
Like,
Geno can somehow have like a 2-1, that's a win. That is such a win.
I mean, the thing is with Geno, like, also you could say like, he will do better, but like, even if he doesn't realistically, it's not the worst thing in the world because like he's a veteran quarterback. He's played for over a decade now, and he would definitely serve as a great mentor for Kubiak. I mean, if they think he's like destined to be the Jets' future. I mean, he was a fourth round pick, but I can't really give any like special insight on that. But
Yeah.
like,
I'd say I think Klubnik, look, I don't know the real story. I'm not a huge college football follower. I kind of
me
love
neither.
the draft. I pretend like I know I really don't know that much. I don't pay attention to it. But Klubnik, from what I remember, the little that I know, he was doing
Clemson.
very good in college, but then he had a really bad year last year. I don't know if it was because he was hurt or because there was something about last year being a really bad year that tanked his stock. But the past couple years he's been so good, and he was projected to go really high before last year. Everything kind of collapsed, but he looks great. Just kind of like his poise and his presence. You could tell in some of the plays, even though he was literally only in there for like I think one drive, the opening drive, defenders were running at him, and he was able to stay calm, maneuver the pocket, make a rollout, and find Mason Taylor when two edge rushers were literally running right at him. And for a rookie quarterback who's having his first preseason, first NFL experience, that's a good thing. That's something that you might not find out of other quarterbacks. I mean, you see Shador Sanders, oh, it slipped. Did you see that clip with Shador?
No.
He just like he like threw a ball and like it was like so overthrown, and it was intercepted, and in the post game conference he was just like, "Oh, it slipped. It was a good read. It just slipped." Like, what are you talking about? Like it's so stupid. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for him. I think it's the Jets' job to not screw it up, and I that's very difficult for them. So
Yeah.
you know, so I don't want to sit here and say, oh, he's the future. It's going to work out. He's guaranteed, whatever. Geno Smith is least obvious bridge quarterback. We all know it. Whether Klubnik is the future, whether a high pick quarterback next year draft is the future. This year is about really this year is about building a foundation and Aaron Glenn seeing if he's going to keep his job.
Oh yeah,
And I really do think that all the pieces on the team this year, if all goes well, probably, and this is the best case scenario, maybe could not have maybe even sneak into the playoffs 8 and 9. Like
that's a very high
possibly.
number.
It's very high number, I know. But it could happen because I also think in that I think a lot of it's dependent on Geno Smith and Frank Reich because I think all the rest of the pieces on the offense are solid and they're good and they're going to do their job. I think without big injuries, and I think if Frank Reich's scheme is actually a little creative and isn't just one dimensional, and Geno Smith isn't a turnover machine, I think the offense can be very serviceable. And I think an Aaron Glenn led defense. Now, the first team defense, I think, is actually very good on paper. Bailey and
I was gonna
uh
ask you about that.
yeah, Bailey and McDonald getting at it. McDonald got a sack in the game, in the preseason game. I think they're going to be a great duo. I think Bailey's going to prove to be a lot better than Jermaine Johnson. I think having Minka Fitzpatrick at safety is huge. I think the leadership of Demario Davis is going to be huge. I think a lot of that veteran presence and also a lot of rising stars around them could be a great recipe. And Aaron Glenn is a proven defensive coordinator. And I think if he can just get it together, I think that they can do a very good job.
Yeah, I mean it's a wait and see, obviously, but like
Hmm.
I could definitely see like a lot of positives with the team. I mean, you mentioned the defense with David Bailey getting drafted pretty early, and you also mentioned Will McDonald, and I thought the Mika Fitzpatrick move was pretty good. What'd you give up?
I literally think it might have been like a sixth round pick.
Yeah,
It was something so minuscule.
yeah, I mean that's definitely
Deal.
a very valuable piece to have.
Yeah.
I I really don't have any like bad things to say about what the Jets did in the offseason. I mean, you also
Yeah.
got Demario Davis, who he's played for a bit now. I mean, he even played for the Jets a while back, but like
Played for the Jets a while back, and I think he was I think when Aaron Glenn was with the Saints under Sean
Sean
Payton,
Payton.
I think Davis was there at least for a year, I think. So I think there really is a lot of good that can come out of it. But that being said, in the preseason game, the backup defense, the second string defense, didn't look great at all. I think the defense lacks depth. I think besides like the first stringers, there's a big dip in the
Yeah,
defensive players. The only actual good like third, second stringer,
defensive
whatever,
end.
like player on that team was Maury Bamba, who is a UDFA, I think corner. I might be totally wrong. I think he was a cornerback. All I know is that I was watching the game
I
and
don't know who that is.
he was lighting it up. I've never heard of him in my life. Um, but all I just kept seeing him. He was making plays. He was locking up receivers. He was doing a very good job. And I think as a team, if you can score a really good depth piece from free agency, like rookie free agency, I think that's huge because it's like you're kind of like it's no risk and it's only high reward.
Oh yeah,
And I think
100%.
if Maury Bamba can be a good depth piece in that cornerback room, that's very helpful because a lot of the corners are hurt right now. Um, Nashawn Wright is hurt. Um, who else is hurt? I don't know. Oh,
Pons.
everyone's hurt. Who else is hurt?
Pons.
Hans is hurt. like is Azaria Thomas hurt or did he play? I don't really remember.
I
But
think he's
like
healthy.
I think he's healthy. But like it's like first of all, how where are all these injuries like coming from?
I mean, that's
It's
common with football.
I know it's just it's so frustrating. I mean, it's not as frustrating as Jamal Adams. That's a whole different can of worms. That's freaking terrible. Again, MetLife turf monster claiming another body
Yeah.
already. That's a totally different conversation. But like, and I wish we could see some Kenyon Sadiq because
I was
I
gonna bring
like
that up.
I like the pick, but it's hard when he's not out there playing. So I don't know. What do you think of Kenyon Sadiq?
I don't have any insight. Like you, I don't watch college football.
Yeah.
Like I don't like he went to Oregon. Um
Mhm.
he got I don't know where he got drafted, but like I think he got drafted like mid round, mid first.
16, 16.
Yeah, wow. Okay. So yeah, he gets drafted 16th. And usually like when you're drafting a tight end like the first round, like he's like you would think he's like a superstar, you know. Like you saw in the past, like uh Sam Laporta got drafted, TJ Hawkinson got drafted really early one time. He was supposed to be a superstar.
Who's the guy on the Colts now that you had in fantasy last
Tyler
year?
Warren.
Tyler Warren. Wasn't he drafted first round? Or am I making that up?
I he could have. I think he
Right?
was. And Colston Loveland,
Was he the one out of
Penn
Penn
State.
State last year? Yeah,
Yes.
right? I think he was. Because I remember wanting the Jets to take him last year, but they passed and the Colts got him, and then the Jets take Mason Taylor in the second.
Yeah, I mean the tight end position is like kind of like I don't know how to say this. It's not like end or end all or be all.
It's a luxury position.
Yeah, I mean you don't need to
Yeah.
have a good tight end to be a good
Yeah.
team. But like I think what teams could do is just like mix and match tight ends and not just like invest so much into one guy,
Yeah.
unless he's like the real deal, obviously. I mean, Warren was pretty good last year with Jones, and then also Loveland was drafted pretty early too.
True.
He was very good at the end of the season and could be a future star. But I mean Sadiq, I don't know, dude. I I really don't know if it's gonna be worth the first round pick,
Yeah, I don't know
first
either.
round value. I mean, you also mentioned Mason Taylor. He was drafted second in the second round last year. He's shown flashes of success. I mean, he's not a superstar tight end, but like he's definitely he proved himself as a solid target at least.
Yeah.
You know, even with Justin Fields. I mean, I think he was like leading in targets at one point.
Yeah, I mean, but
I
it's
mean,
cra
it's really not a challenge.
isn't it crazy that Garrett Wilson was the leader of receiving yards at the end of the season, even though he played like 5 games with like 370 yards.
It's
Mason Taylor was
terrible.
second. Um, but I think the Jets also have the opportunity to run a lot of
You also have Ruckert.
yes, three like they can run a lot of three tight end concepts where they can get Sadiq and Taylor and Ruckert all at the same time. Ruckert is a great blocking tight end, and I think if they can again, the thing about the Jets and again, besides kind of quarterback, for the first time since maybe like 2021, they actually have like on paper a great team that with the right coaching and the right quarterback play,
I wouldn't say a great team, but like,
well, like it's better than they've had for years.
yeah, there's some positives.
And I think that I mean even especially on the offensive end, I'll say like you have a lot of great pieces. It's just a matter of can they be coached right? And I think a lot of that is going to fall on Frank Reich. And as much as Aaron Glenn, yes, he is the head coach, and obviously he matters too. The fact that he has to be so hands-on with his defense because of how atrocious it was last year, and just just it's it's gonna happen that he's not gonna have that much hands-on in the offense if he's so hands-on with the defense. that's why you get Frank Wright, who's a former head coach, and he's a
Yeah, with the Colts.
veteran coach. He's offensive coordinator. He can kind of be like the head coach of the offense, like a little vice head coach. So a lot of this is going to fall on him. And again, I'm not that super knowledgeable on how he did when he was coaching in college, or honestly, I don't even know how he did with the Panthers, but I can't remember the last time the Panthers have actually been good, so I'm
Frank Wright.
gonna imagine it wasn't great. I think he was the head coach of the Panthers a few years ago. Um
Wasn't he
but
with the Colts?
oh, was it the Colts? I don't know. It was either the Panthers or Colts. It was probably a blue team. But it's just
Yeah,
you
he was
gotta
the
see.
coach.
It was the
He's with the
Colts.
Colts, yeah,
It was the Colts. Okay.
I think.
Um, it's you gotta see how he does. And again, it's a lot of wait and see. Obviously, what there's three preseason games, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta see how the other two preseason games go, but you also don't wanna show everything in your arsenal on the preseason games. So I think you have to wait and see. And I hope they save a lot for, I don't think they showed much in this game, and I hope they save a lot of fun plays for the regular season. The first couple weeks they could really blow minds. I think they have to walk into Tennessee and just like
They need to take advantage of that
they need
game.
to shatter expectations. Like maybe not shatter, but like not only do they need to win, but they need to win comfortably. It can't. I feel like you can't walk into Tennessee week one, new look offense, Aaron Gunn's on the hot seat. You can't just walk in and be like, "Oh
They
yeah,
can't lose.
it was a bloodbath. It was a struggle." Even whether you win or lose, I feel like it can't be so difficult.
Well, I mean, you're going up against Robert Saleh and Brian
Right.
Dable
Yeah.
and Cam Ward in his second year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how that's gonna go, but they'll they'll be all right. I mean, you should definitely be favored though,
I think the
and
Jets should definitely be
I
favored,
think
but
the
you
wins are where
continue.
it matters the most. Ultimately, at the end of the day, whether it's a struggle or not, because ultimately you're not just gonna go through the season struggle free, unless you're like the Patriots back in like the early 2010s. But
Right.
um, but yeah, I mean
Not if
they
Eli Manning had anything to say about it.
yeah yeah I mean Eli Manning the GOAT, great
Yeah.
legacy, but like I mean what was I gonna yeah I was gonna say like you're gonna have to go through adversity throughout the season, and not all games are gonna be
Yeah.
bloodbaths, or sometimes they're gonna be defensive games. Like
Yeah.
your defensive players are gonna have to show up sometimes.
Oh, for
They're gonna be
sure.
very low scoring games sometimes. Like maybe you win by like a score or a field goal or just like a field goal or something. Or yeah,
And that's fine too.
but ultimately at the end of the day, the wins are what matter,
Yes.
not just like all point differentials. I mean, it could help, but
Yeah, no, it definitely helps. I just think it also like because I think the Jets, like the Cardinals and the Browns and even the Titans, they're laughing stocks. And I think you have to show to the rest of the league, because I think then they play the Packers next week. You have to show the Packers from your game one tape that you can't get walked over. And I know, look, an NFL team is an NFL team. You can't just walk into any NFL stadium and just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna whatever. But you have to show a little bit of be a bit of a threat. So that's why I think even just for like that mental aspect, you kind of have to do a little bit better than just win. But obviously, yes, at the end of the day, winning is what's important. I think the only other thing that like the Jets have to clean up, and of course it's like it's the most basic thing ever, is that they just have to stop with like the penalties. And yes, you could say like, oh,
the
penalty
Giants have
on
been
like
pretty bad at that in the last few years.
right. And it's like, okay, certain penalties like, oh, a holding or a pass interference or like a some like whatever, those are bound to happen. That's just playing the game. It happens to every team. But like in the preseason game, it was 4th and 10. They were about to punt. The Jets had 12 men on the field. So then it became 4-5. The Bucs go for it. then they proceed to score the winning touchdown on that drive. So, yes, it's preseason, it's third stringers that have no idea what's happening.
It's
Sure,
inexcusable.
but it's really not, yeah, right. It's not excusable. You can't make those mistakes, and you can't be Aaron Glenn when all you preach is grit and oh, we're gonna clean that up. I'm gonna look at myself, and then the first game you go out there, you kind of like, not that he was the 12th guy on the field, but your team, whether they're the
It's a
the
reflection
first
on the
stringer
coach.
or the seventh stringer, doesn't matter. Your team is causing a penalty that is beyond dumb, beyond dumb.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I mean, you talked about Aaron Glenn like saying like, "Oh, I gotta do this and this," but like ultimately at the end of the day, talk is talk, and if they're not showing results on the field, then his job will be out the window very soon. And I'll share my opinion on it, but like, I mean, I definitely think he should have been fired after last season, kind of like the old Patriots coach before Vrabel.
Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, Jerron Mayo. I mean, it kind of like reminds me of that in a way, where like you head into the season with like all right expectations. I mean, Jerron Mayo was like hired. Like I don't really know why, but like I'm not gonna like say anything. I'm not gonna extend my thoughts on that. But like, I mean, he was clearly not fit for the job from the day forward. And then you see Aaron Glenn, like he's got the Jets history and stuff. Did very well with the Lions as defensive coordinator. Had history with the Saints, which I actually didn't know until you said that the last podcast or
Yeah,
whatever.
like on episode
You're
like
on.
4.
Yeah, like I didn't even know that. And like I he was definitely gonna get a job, and that's not like that's a fine fit. I mean, at the time, like went to the Jets, you know,
Hmm.
has a history, did well the last year.
And he wanted, you don't find people that want
He
to be
won.
the Jets head coach, right? And I think that was one of the sellers, is that he had so much pride of being a Jet, and he wanted to be the guy to turn it around so bad. And you respect that, and you root for him. I still root for him. One, because by rooting for him, you're rooting for the team. But two, because I want him to change it, because he wants to change the culture just as bad as fans want the culture to be changed. And I think that that's something that I've always respected about him, and he hasn't changed that philosophy.
Yeah, I I agree with that. And I was gonna like share my the rest of my thoughts, but like I think just after last year, like the offense is like pretty disgustingly bad. I mean, you got Fields, he was terrible. And then was Joe Douglas the GM at the time, or like when he
Um,
made the Fields move, or
no, I think it was Muji, because I think Muji and Glenn come in about the same
oh
time, and
yeah,
then I
okay.
think they get Fields.
Okay, like to be honest, like the whole season was just like a waste of time. Like the offense was like I said already, it was pretty bad. And then you go on the defensive end, like it was just like a real lack of effort, or like real lack of showing, to be honest. And it's like you ultimately see that, and you see all that, and it's like a reflection on the coach, like said all this stuff, like hyping up the team, like things are gonna be different here. No excuses, no this, but like, they're pretty bad. And I it definitely would have made sense if they fired him. But I mean, you can't just
Yeah, I don't agree that he should have gotten fired, and the reason I say that is because the Jets are so low, like they've hit such rock bottom, that I feel like you can't just keep recycling and going through a new coach, new coach, new coach. Because yes, obviously there are coaches that come in, like again, Vrabel comes to the Patriots, they go to the Super Bowl. So it's not like, oh, this the first time a
that's what I'm
coach is
saying.
on a new team, that automatically means they're going to do bad. And that's not an excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse. But if you're the Jets, you're in a position where you're not in win now mode. You're not in you traded Quinnen and the Sauce trades, that proves we are in a rebuild. This is not win now mode. So you might as well give the guy an extra chance
Yeah.
because he knows the players. The players bought into him. They believe in him. He believes in them. You have no reason, the Jets have no reason to do that because it's not like even if they bring in a great coach that autumn they're in win now mode, they're gonna win anyway. So the way I see it is that this, yes, if they start like 0 and 5, 0 and 6, you fire him purely off precedent. Also,
Yeah,
just to
he's
be like,
gone.
get the hell out. But even if they keep him the whole season and they go 4 and 13 or 5 and 12 even, and it
I think
was
his
such
job
a
stays if that
disaster.
happens.
Yeah, you think it's safe if that happens?
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think is like the bar between safe and he's out?
I think it's like a performance thing. I think if they like, the wins are one thing, but like, I think if they like put out the same effort like they did last year, gone,
Right,
100%. Or if it's
right.
like an 0 and 5, gone. But
Mm-hmm.
like if it's like a 4 and 13, like they do solid, like they show like legitimate
Parts.
improvement.
Yeah.
I mean,
I also think it's in the order of the wins too. Like if they start hot and they dive off a cliff, it's different because it's a lot easier to make a big decision like that early when the season's still alive or you could still have hope or whether it's alive or not, but it's easier if they start like 0 and 5 and then you could fire them, but if they start 2 and 3 and then they still end the season 5 and 12 or it's different than starting 0 and 5.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I mean, I'll compare with the Giants. Like last year, they did perform well, surprisingly, in a very hard schedule, but the wins didn't show for it.
Yeah.
And the reason they didn't get the wins was honestly like I talked to Jane about this. Like it's just purely coaching. I mean, the
Yeah.
coaching was pathetic last year, and like that point they needed to go, no doubt, no doubt in my mind. Like Brian Dable needed to go. Defensive coordinator needed to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's my piece. But like,
And now you got Harbaugh who
can
is
actually coach.
a great coach. Yeah.
I mean, is he? He's not the greatest coach of all time. He's not Bill Belichick, but like,
No, but it's an improvement and if not to totally veer off topic, but like I say about the Jets, they have good pieces. The Giants have amazing pieces on both sides of the ball. And with proper coaching, and I think with John Harbaugh coaching, they can easily take a major step. Does this mean they go to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl? No,
no.
but they'll take a major step up from last year. And if they don't take a major step up, then
Well,
then
Harbaugh's not going to go, but
yeah, but it's still like, what do you do then? Do you just gut it? But that's a whole different conversation that
you
you
just
can
have to
have
keep
with
going.
Jake.
Yeah, I'll that'll be reserved
Yeah.
reserved for later. But like, do you have any like more thoughts about the Jets, or just like because we talked
Um,
about a lot, to be honest.
yeah, no, we did. I think I went through everything I wanted to go through. Wanted to talk about both sides of the ball, wanted to talk about, cleaning up the penalties and stuff, but overall, you know, as a Jets fan, I guess as a younger Jets fan too, there's Jets fans that are way older and they're sick of it. I understand. As a young Jets fan, I'm still obviously excited. I'm excited for football. I'm excited for fantasy. Our draft is Thursday. Actually, one more thing that I was thinking about, like, what Jets players do you think have fantasy value? Like where Garrett Wilson is in the draft, do you take him? Like if he's like, what is he? If he is 31st or something?
You're just trying to pick my brain.
No, no,
I mean,
I'm just saying do you think that these Jets players are actually like where they belong? Like, yes, Garrett Wilson's an amazing receiver and he deserves to be as a player very high up, but in the system on the Jets with Geno, do you think he actually should go where he goes?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I say that maybe a little biased too, but I think so. I think if Garrett Wilson stays healthy, he will have a great year.
I think he easily cracks over 1,000 yards and
Yeah,
he returns
yeah,
his original form.
yes. If he's healthy and 100%, and if even if it's Klubnik at the end of the season, I still think he does great. Even if it's not Geno. If it's Zappy or Cook, maybe not. But if it's one of those two, I think he does. I guess I'm concerned about Brees. I took him last year, whatever. I don't think he's going to be that great in the sense that if they incorporate him in the passing game like they should be, I think he would be very valuable, especially PPR format, whatever. But I don't know, like is Braelon Allen going to steal his end zone,
I
his
don't
red
think
zone
so.
touch? You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Because like the thing is they extended Brees to the massive
Right.
extension and
Right.
he's been a key part of their team for
Yeah.
the last 2 years. And he's
Yeah, I think if they incorporate him in the passing game like they did in years past and like they should be, I think he is a good pick. But I think him and Garrett are like back to back, and I think having Garrett's way better than
I
having.
agree.
I
I agree.
think Brees is a little high.
I think Brees is fine, but I think that's just like a lot of uncertainty from last year. I mean,
Right.
you had a quarterback that ran the ball all the
I mean,
time.
look, I'm saying this all on the pod right now, but come Thursday when I'm sitting there, if I have the opportunity to draft either of them,
Yeah, you're definitely drafting.
I'm definitely taking them, especially considering my spot. Like, I will be taking either of them if I can. Also, just like again, the way that like neighbors is obviously great. You want to root for your player. Like you want to be able to watch your play because if Brees is doing good, then that means the Jets are doing good. Like it's one of
Yeah,
those things. Like you want to have your player, like your team's player. So
it definitely helps.
yeah,
I mean, coming from a Malik neighbors drafter from last
yeah,
year, but
yeah.
that didn't last very long.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, again, it was like great having you on, and we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Talk,
Thanks for having me. It's always a blast.
yeah, I mean that. Thank you, obviously, and see you guys in the next one.
Jet up, baby.